Welcome to Slingshot Fever.
Today, I'm answering questions. It often comes up, how long does it take to get good with a slingshot? When talking to somebody who's new or looking at getting into the slingshot sport or hobby. Now, there's a few different factors. One, the person's background. Folks with a traditional archery especially, but anyone with an archery background, seems to pick up slingshots much quicker. The parallels that exist between the two are pretty similar. There's a lot of stuff that's pretty close. Now, another group that gets it relatively quickly, those with good hand-eye coordination. The third group that gets it really fast are those who are able to think analytically. And what I mean by that, they're able to take that shot, analyze what they did after they understand the concepts, after they understand moving my anchor point up will make my shot go lower, moving it lower will make my shot go higher, and different tweaks like that you can do. Once they understand that, they'll be able to dial it in relatively quickly. So, let's say you're not in one of those groups. What are the factors? How long until you get good? Well, that one's got several subcategories as well. What are we considering as good? Hitting a pie plate? Hitting a pizza box? Hitting a soda can? The bottom line, though, what it comes down to is your practice. Number one, how often do you practice? If you go out every day, obviously you're going to be learning faster and thus be a better shot quicker. In theory, I'll get to that. However, what is your practice time? If you go out daily and shoot 3 shots or 5 shots, well, then somebody that shoots and practices every other day for, say, 10 or 15 minutes is obviously putting in much more practice time. So the bottom line is the amount of practice you're putting in. Now, going back to that, you have to be practicing the correct way. If you're practicing willy-nilly and doing different techniques, well, those practice sessions are kind of out the window. Unless you're analytical and you're paying attention to, okay, today I'm shooting for 5 minutes this way. And then stop your test there. Next day, I'm shooting for 5 minutes this way, keeping everything else the same. But when you want to test something, whether it's a new release or a new pouch or any sort of factors, by doing it like that, you're not going to develop, or you're less likely to develop, poor shooting habits. Whereas if I'm shoot 5 times with this anchor point, now I'm going to go 5 times this anchor point, and then I'm going to try doing my forks upright this way when I've been doing it gangster. And just different things like that, you want to avoid that, especially in one shooting session while you're learning. After you're a more experienced shooter, changing it up and going into different techniques and, all right, I'm going to try this a couple times. Floop, nope, that doesn't work, or okay, yeah, I kind of like that. When you're learning, stay away from all that. There's going to be another video on how you should practice, so I'm not going to dive too deeply in that, but just keep it consistent and don't mix it up. Number one, we have your practice time. The amount of time you spend practicing is a factor. And this is after your background. I know people who have, with the archery background, I've literally handed them a slingshot, and from 20 yards, about 15, 16 shots, I don't know, something like that, we weren't counting 20 shots, all of them were on a 4-inch spinner. You'll see in different videos the little air gun spinner, that's what he was shooting at. Right around 15, 20 shots though, no problem. Huge traditional archery background, though. I think he had 2 misses right off the bat, and then it was just pretty much every single one on the 4-inch steel spinner. So your background is definitely the first factor. But beyond that, the amount of time you spend practicing and how you practice. Now there's one other factor, and that's the slingshot frame itself. Let's face it, not all slingshot frames fit every shooter. I have ones I like and I have ones I dislike. And you can talk to any very experienced, top-notch shooter, and you will hear them say, whether it be you saying, I like this frame, and their reply is, I can't shoot that frame. Or just asking, hey, is there a frame you don't like? And absolutely, they will tell you, yes. Everybody has them. So sometimes just changing the frame will help you. Now, I've got frames I can shoot decent, but then I switch my frame to like the Scout LT, and it's just bang on for me. A lot of that has to do with the edge-to-edge fork gap, because I use the edge corner, that top corner, as a reference point. So if you shoot that way, that does make a huge difference, and something you should pay attention to. But changing your bands and ammo combo can also change your impact point, as well as anchor points and everything else. Practice the same way, but practice. Do that, practice effectively, and be paying attention. Why did I miss? What did that shot do? That shot went high. Why are these shots going high? Okay, most of my shots are going high. How do I correct that? Well, change your anchor point. Raise your anchor point up a little bit, and that will bring your impact point lower. So just having good awareness is one of the greatest things you can do. Self-diagnostics is a huge part of slingshot shooting. I hope that helps. Remember, you can't compare it to how long it took somebody else. You can only compare it to yourself. But just get out there and practice. That's the best thing you can do.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. And as always, shoot safe, shoot straight, and God bless.